brought on 4 new data analysts on our data analysis and applications team. So today I'll just share their names so that in case you see them or hear them come up in your interactions with staff, you know that they are our new data analysts. They are Tanner Bonner, Joseph Delorto, Sophie Fox, and Seth Stromwasser. So those are 4 new staff. We're very excited to have them. We also have a few engagement highlights. 2 of them are new and 2 of them are reminders. First of all, a new one on August 19th and 25th, both the Federal Highway Administration, Resource Center Transportation Performance Management, Asset Management, and Freight and Analytics team, as well as MassDOT, hosted the Advancing Freight virtual seminar for Massachusetts. It was an MPO focused event and it covered freight basics, state and MPO critical freight issues, freight data, and effective practices from other states. And if you have any questions about it, our freight planner, Sandy Johnston, was a panelist, and he gave a presentation about MPO freight planning on the first day of the webinar. Another highlight I'd like to share is that the U.S. Department of Transportation has asked the MPO to participate in a survey on equity and public involvement in the transportation planning process. So our equity and engagement staff are working together on drafting responses, and we'll be submitting the completed survey later in the month. And then 2 reminders. We have a transit working group quarterly meeting coming up on Tuesday, September 20th at 3 p.m. And those guest speakers for that meeting will be a team from TransitOps, which is a nonprofit that works on open source transit technology, and Marco Chidi, who is a transit scholar speaking about Montreal's recent fare integration. A link to register for that event will show up in the chat. And if you have any questions, you can contact Sandy Johnston. And then a last reminder, the 45-day public comment period is underway for the amendment to the public engagement plan. And again, as a reminder, one of the notable changes in the plan is to allow the board to waive the 21-day comment period for UPWP amendments. So that public comment period ends in a few days on September 4th, and please feel free to provide comments if you have them. And then just a couple of notes about the next MPO meeting coming up on September 15th. At that meeting, 2 items we'll expect to have is 1, a vote to endorse the amendment to the MPO's public engagement plan, which I just mentioned the public comment period is about to close for. And then also a presentation from Sandy Johnston on the MPO's travel demand management study on peer MPO practices and whether and how this MPO should engage in those. So with that, I would happily pass it back to you, Mr. Chair, and answer any questions.
Thank you, Tegan. Any questions for Tegan? Seeing and hearing none. Next item on the agenda is public comment. So everyone from the public who would like to make a comment at this time. Seeing and hearing none, if you want to comment during the meeting, please raise your hand and we will call on you. Next item on the agenda is the Regional Transportation Advisory Council report. Lynn?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We did not have a meeting between our last meeting, and so I have nothing to report from the advisory council with respect to meetings, but at our next meeting, we are going to be part of the certification process, and so we're devoting our entire meeting to that, and I believe that there's going to be more advertising around that to encourage more public participation, so I'm sure that if it seems like an hour and a half or an hour and 45 minutes is enough time, we'll be able to accommodate more time for that certification process. Thank you.
Thank you, Lynn. Next item on the agenda is the approval of the MPO minutes from July 21st. Can I get a motion and a second from a member, and please state your name for the record. Daniel Amstutz.
I move to approve the minutes from July, whatever they are.
Tom O'Rourke.
I'll second that motion.
Thank you. Motion hasn't been made and seconded. Jonathan, are we roll calling or am I just calling for a vote?
I was going to call for a vote, but it appears that I have to make everyone a co-host. I thought Hayne had the ability, and I'm doing that right now. So this is a good test for us today.
All right, and then I'm just going to ask people, all those in favor say aye. Is that what I'm doing?
That's what I was looking to do, Mr. Chair. Yes.
All right. You let me know when you're ready, and I will ask people.
Okay, thank you. I believe we are ready, Mr. Chair.
All right. Motion having been made and seconded to approve the minutes from July. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Thank you. That motion carries. Next item on the agenda is the Transportation Amendment number 8. John?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. As we will be talking about TIP Amendment 8. As you all know, this is the 8th amendment for the TIP. This was brought to the MPO at our August 4th MPO meeting. And at that meeting, we put it out for the 21-day public review. This proposed the removal of one project, the Boston, Milton, Quincy highway lighting system replacement on I-93 between the Ponset Ave and the Braintree split from the state prioritized reliability project safety improvements program. This is the project. It removes $12,658,545 from the statewide program due to the reason being that there were going to be conflicts with 2 other projects happening in the area, and Mass DOT Highway Division recommended that this come out. We had the comment period after the August 4th meeting, which closed on August 25th at 5 o'clock. We received no comments during that comment period. And at this time, staff requests that the MPO vote to endorse Amendment 8, and that will do it. Thank you very much.
Are there any questions on the amendment? Bill Conroy.
Hi, I was just curious as to when the project would go back out to bid. Would it be a couple of years, or what are we looking at?
John Bouchard, you want to handle that one?
Yes, sir. We're looking at probably 3 years. Bill, it's the with the barrier project, the bridge project, and then the resurfacing of 93 all occurring over the next 2+ years. We just couldn't have this lighting project go on at the same time because of, they're doing barrier lighting in the median as well as outside, and so we decided to pull this. We did accelerate the barrier project for the movable barrier for the HOV lane with cursor funds, and that was not a project that was programmed on our 22, but we accelerated the design to incorporate that, and that's why we had to, that one was a higher safety priority, and this could be put off a few years, so it's probably going to be close to 3 years.
Okay, thank you, John. Thank you,
No
Mr.
problem.
Chair. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thanks.
Any other questions? Seeing and hearing none, can I get a motion to approve as presented today? And please state your name for the record when making the motion. Lynn Diggins.
Lynn Diggins, Advisory Council, I make a motion to approve the amendment.
Thank you. Bill Conroy.
Bill Conroy, City of Boston, I make a motion to approve.
Thank you. Motion having been made and seconded. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Thank you. That motion carries. Next item on the agenda is member items. Does anyone have any? Brad Rawson.
Good morning, Mr. Chair. Thank you. And good morning, board members and staff. Mr. Chair, if it's okay, I wanted to take a moment and speak about the public safety emergency and mobility emergency of the MBTA Orange Line and Green Line shutdowns. I wanted to make sure that if anybody had questions for municipalities or agency partners, we made ourselves available either here or offline. But Mr. Chair, the most important thing I would like to say is that we have had an incredible light speed interagency effort to keep people safe and to keep this regional economy moving. I have observed day-to-day emergency operations posture meetings like I have never seen before. The Commonwealth, the region, the municipalities, the private sector are treating this as an emergency, like a hurricane or an ice storm or an extended power outage. With that in mind, I cannot miss an opportunity to remind this board and any participants in this meeting that if you have discretionary non-essential travel next week, please stay off the roads. please communicate to your stakeholders that the roads are going to be in very, very tough shape with back to school post Labor Day, and the fact that 100,000 people who depend on Orange Line service are riding shuttles that are spaced at like 60 seconds apart. It is an absolute marvel of a logistics operation, and yet there is no slack in the system, Mr. Chair. Mass DOT Highway Division has been absolutely incredible and progressive in mobilizing resources to provide safe streets and transit priorities in very, very high demand, high stress, high congestion locations. Municipalities, most specifically the city of Boston and the city of Somerville, have deployed their own resources to deliver on-street bus lanes, accessibility upgrades, emergency bike facilities. Our advocacy partners have been at the table with us. There is an incredible team effort here, and yet we are not out of the woods, folks. If you think that just because last week was not apocalyptic in its travel patterns, please do not let your guards down. And please relay to your stakeholder communities that it's going to be really bad next week. We understand that there was a terrible crash somewhere today, and so it just illustrates the need for folks who have the privilege of working from home or deferring travel to stay off of those roads. That said, I also want to spotlight the incredible effort of the MBTA to deliver key capital investments on the Orange Line itself and the Green Line. The municipalities remain the partners of our state agencies and regional transit authority. We're in it for the long haul. We are key stakeholders, and with proper notification and communication, we can move mountains to support the urgent safety priorities of the MBTA and keep this region and this Commonwealth moving. So happy to follow up with anybody offline. I just wanted to take that moment. Thank you, Chair.
Well said, Brett. Thank you. Any other comments, member items at this time? Seeing and hearing none, can I get a motion and a second to adjourn, and please state your name for the record? Daniel Amstutz.
Move to adjourn.
Tom O'Brien. I'm sorry, O'Rourke. Sorry, Tom. I'm looking
No
right
problem.
at your name. I don't know how I can't pronounce it.
I will second that.
Thank you. Motion having been made and seconded, without objection, we are adjourned. Thank you all very much. Bye,
Thank you.
everybody. See you next week.